Hi friends, this is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Fatal 12. This is part 13 in our series. Excitement! I hope you're having fun. I am, for sure. This last episode was so intriguing, with all of the different pieces coming together all in one spot at one time, all because we're trying to track that old man / foreign kid. So, let's get back into it. Doop doop doo. I hope you're having a great Pride Month. Excitement. Load. Here. Okay. There's a term for when words. There's a term for when one realizes they're dreaming. Lucid dreaming. Ever since divine selection began, I've experienced it at least once per week. Granted, I'm not quite sure that you can call what goes on in the court of fate a dream. Whatever. I find myself once again in a strange place despite knowing for a fact that I went to sleep not long ago. Oh. Hi. Hello there. Obi-Wan. I'd say been a while, but I'm not sure if it actually has been or not. Don't comprehend your human's perception of time too well. I've seen this man once before. It's only now that I remember having met him in my dreams before, though. Ah, is he perhaps the one who made the Court of Fate that Parsa can't change all the rules to? I take it you remember me, or remember me just now. Like how you've lost some of your precious memories. It's a foregone conclusion that you'll forget everything that occurs in this dream. I want to say something, but I find myself unable to speak. He dominates the conversation. It may be a bit rude to say this when you run a coffee shop, but I'm actually a lot more interested in tea. In fact, I've been aching for some good afternoon tea for a while. Are you going to spill the tea there, man? Alas, not only do I have no one to talk to here, there aren't any tea sets to use either. Such a shame. Alas, earwax. This man knows who I am. I'm not sure how important that realization is when I'm likely to forget everything he says, though. Well, enough pleasantries for now. There's no time to waste on those when one of your lost memories has made its way back to you. It's precisely for that reason that I made the effort to bring you here and offer my congratulations. Which memory, you ask? It seems I appeared before you actually recovered the memory. My mistake. Understanding your concept of time is truly a difficult task. Its flow may be linear, but the rate at which it moves always throws me off. Oh, goodness. Anyway, do take this opportunity to recall some prior events before morning comes. Oh my goodness. Is this like Deus Ex Machina for us? I'm standing alone in the Court of Fate. I'm on the same platform as usual, but for some reason, none of the other participants are here. Good evening, you poor lost lamb. I'm afraid to inform you that you have become a slave to fate. A girl dressed in white addresses me. Oh, is this the first time, Parsa and you met? It's Parsa. She stands in front of me, despite the fact that there's no solid surface beneath her feet. I watch from a distance as both of us face one another. I conclude that this is one of my memories, since I'm able to watch myself as though I am a third party. Oh, awkward. Your spirit has found itself roaming the corridors of fate after your passing. Fear not, fate has changed its course, and thus you will become a participant in divine selection. She begins to tell me about divine selection. She explains all the rules. I watch myself try to get a word in every now and then, but she ignores each attempt. Everything she's explaining here is the exact same as what she told us during the first election. Memories of an explanation I had heard before. This must have taken place right after I died then. Considering the in-depth explanation she's giving, it's no wonder she was unimpressed with me when I asked her about it again. Well, remembering this explanation of rules I already know, it's more pointless than one would expect too. However, do keep in mind one thing. Fate initially foretold that all 12 participants would gather in the same place at the same time 12 weeks from now. It is a place that bears significance to all involved, even if that future has now been lost. It is what we will refer to as the final destination for your individual fates. Should you find yourself as the last remaining participant, please make your way to this place. Reaching the final destination will serve as proof that you are alive and will thus overwrite your death for good. As for what will happen should you fail to reach it, well, I would hate to spoil the surprise should that come to pass. She didn't mention a specific time or place. Said she placed her finger on her brow. Brow? She closed her eyes, and then her finger began to glow. E.T.? She E.T.? She didn't need words for that part. The touch, Parsa etched the final destination into our minds. Oh! I mean, that's handy. But you forgot all of it? My eyes jolted open after a night of sleep. I remember exactly what I saw in my dream. Immediately after my death, I was taken to the Court of Fate and met with Parsa. She explained all the rules that I had heard during the first election. No wonder she was so impressed when I asked again. You did forget the guy. I'm fairly sure she told me my cause of death and regret as well, but I can't remember any of that. I remember something far more important, though. That final destination of our individual fates. This is the first time I'd heard of it. Becoming the final participant alone isn't enough. I will need to get to this place afterwards. It's a place I know quite well. Same park where I talk things out with Naomi. Oh. It's a huge park located in Shinjuku. A plaza from which you can see a clock tower-esque building in the distance. It's one of my favorite spots. That's where all 12 of us are meant to gather, the final destination of our individual fates. I can't believe it. It's hard to be surprised. What? You were just surprised? That park is pretty close to my home. 12 weeks after divine selection begins, or 7 weeks from now, the weather will likely be nice, so I can't say that I won't have gone for a walk there. Besides, it's also a popular tourist spot. Sonia mentioned that she had planned on coming to Japan with her family in the first place. It wouldn't be surprising if she would have gone there with them. As for the others, I'm not sure why they'd go there. But the fact remains that it's a popular spot. There are plenty of reasons to check it out. It also explains the deja vu I felt there when talking to Naomi. Parsa had shown me that scenery once before. Not sure how to describe the sensation I experienced when she did so. Guess it's similar to the feeling you get when you're dreaming. Now it all makes sense. I can finally answer a number of questions that I've been asking myself. It explains why most participants are Japanese, as well as why those who aren't have gathered in Japan. Parsa never did explain why that place is our final destination. Much like how she never discussed how or why divine selection exists, She probably deemed it to be unnecessary information. Either way, I've managed to regain an important memory regarding the whole process. By the time I finished processing this revelation, I noticed that a certain feline isn't beside me anymore. Wait. Is the dude God controlling the feline? Is that what this is? We'll keep an eye out for correlation to see if it's correlation meaning causation or just irrelevant correlation. Guess it slinked off at some point while I was asleep. That cat sure knows how to pull off a disappearance act. Oh no! Let's slip an awful cat pun without even thinking about it. At least there's no one at the door. I might have gone ahead and elected myself for elimination if someone caught me saying that. Just as I start to get ready for school, I check the time and my heart nearly jumps out of my throat. I must have been in a pretty deep sleep. I woke up half an hour later than usual. Are you really still going over there? Oh, loitering. Here we go again. Loitering around Sigasuru's house. Seems like he's the kind of guy who enjoys his morning walks. He might be happy that he doesn't need to worry about his back pain, but come on. How does anyone enjoy walking the same path over and over again? Whatever. The only thing we care about is that there's no one home this time of day. We're trying to think up a way to sneak in while he's out. And when I asked Odette what we do inside, she gave me a quick answer. Look for keepsakes or mementos. Not that any more needs to be said, it's pretty obvious what we'll do. The only piece of information we're missing is his regret. Chances are he's been living here forever based on the crappy condition of the house. That means he'll have stuff that's been sitting around for ages. The kind of stuff that'll point us toward his regret, most likely. So basically, we gotta find keepsakes and mementos that link to the life he's led. Alright, so how are we getting in? Smashing a window and would do the trick. Trust her to make it even more obvious that she's about to commit a crime. Jeez, ain't no way we can get away with doing that in a place like this. It's not in the middle of the night either. It's still too early in the morning. We at least avoided the morning rush, but that doesn't mean the streets are empty. I allowed an exasperated sigh loud enough for Odette to hear before offering my own suggestion. Let me handle this one. Thanks to my time in the Mafia, I know how to pick a lock or two. Guess you got some use after all. I don't know about modern locks, but I should be able to bust this basic one open in about 3 minutes. Keep an eye out for me though. Maybe no one cares about him, but I think someone will report a fellow like me trying to pick the lock on someone's door. Fine. Go ahead and enjoy your moment. Just as she shoots a smirk at me, someone makes their way out of the house. Bingo, he's off for his morning walk. After making sure he's far enough away, we slip over to the door. Let's do this. Keep an eye on the street for me. Alright, before you start though, you were paying attention to what he did when he left, right? Yeah. So, did he lock the door? Oh. I get what she's talking about. He never did turn around to lock the door after leaving. When I think about it, he didn't lock it yesterday either. I guess that's why Odette never mentioned anything about the lock in the first place. I bite my tongue to stop myself from cursing at her before twisting the doorknob. Oh, goodness. You. So much for getting my time to shine. I open the door, remove my shoes, and carry them in one hand, so I make my way in. The interior looks the way I expected. Dilapidated wooden furniture, newspapers, magazines littered all over, etc. But holy hell, it's small. I don't know if it's normal for Japanese houses or not, but you can barely fit anything in here. fact, me and the dead can't stand shoulder to shoulder without getting pressed against the walls. Great. Time for some good old-fashioned rummaging. Her expression is glowing as she opens and closes her hands in a grabbing motion. Yeah, okay, that's totally how that happened. We probably don't need to worry about being loud while he's out, but I'm not too comfortable with the dead speaking at our typical volume. Oh! Ah, hi! Who's here? That little question takes us completely by surprise. It's a kid's voice. The hell? I don't recognize the voice either. That geezer's supposed to be living by himself, so there shouldn't be anyone else here. I know I didn't imagine it, though. Someone definitely called out to us. Oh, what a pain. Huh? There are two of you, I take it. The voice is more clear this time. But I can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. Definitely a kid, though. I recognize those voices from somewhere. Oh yeah, in the dream world. Well, that helps to explain things. Ain't no doubt about it now, the run's a participant. Based on the voice, it's gotta be Numeral IV. Didn't think I'd run into a blank kid here. Numerals 3 and 11. I never expected you two would be working together. And I never expected the old geezer to team up with Numeral IV. We express our mutual disbelief simultaneously. With that out of the way, the kid approaches us. Looks to be just over 5 foot tall. In Japanese, based on the facial features, that's for sure. Looks really young though. I guess they're in the middle of puberty, so 14, 13. Their voice hasn't broken either, which makes it doozy to decipher gender. Not really deciphering gender, more deciphering sex traits that you're trying to assign here. Based on their overall figure, though, I'd guess female. Mind explaining things? Why'd you call them the blank kid? Their name? If so, how'd you learn it? Oh, I never told you. This kid's name card was part of my initial batch. But for whatever reason, the card's blank. I figured it'd appear once I met them in person, but that hasn't really been the case. The kid's expression shifts from upon hearing Odette's claim. Their guard has just gone up. So if it's blank, does it mean this kid don't got no name? Who knows? Care to find out? Do you really think I'd tell you? Heh. The kid tries to provoke Odette with a glare, so she scoffs back. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know my own name. I realize that I'm a participant in Divine Selection, but I don't remember a single thing from before that. How I died, what my life was like. Not even my own name. Amnesia or something? Sheesh. Oh, goddess sure doesn't understand a thing about fairness. You can't just scrape someone up after dying and throw them back into the world without any memories. Wow, you can sure sympathize with someone. You ain't sympathy, dumbass, it's pity. With that, she moves her sights back onto the kid. Aren't you working with the old crew then? Working? No, we don't plan on getting involved. So we're just living out our normal lives. Wanna run that by me again? So you're fine with getting killed off? Of course not, but if we let you people eliminate each other, then we'll eventually be the only two left. What'll you do then? I want to let him live. He helped me when I was lost and took me into his home, even though I'm a participant. I don't have any memories, so I don't even know what my regret is. My life is fun with them, though. That's why I want it to last as long as possible. So, this kid, we know that from just the opening, that this kid definitely was the one with the bag, so the whole Rinka situation blow up thing All of that is tied together, and both of them have trouble with remembering anything about themselves. That's interesting. My life is fun with them, though. That's why I want it to last as long as possible. Both of us are staring at the kid now, but they don't flinch in the slightest. Normally I'd call bullshit on a story like that, but the kid's different. Their expression makes it clear they aren't lying. Well, you probably guessed that we're here to find anything that'll point us toward the geezer's regret. His regret? Not his cause of death? Too bad, kid. That one's in the bag already. I'll have to make sure you leave empty-handed then. I'm sorry, but you can't set foot inside this house. They lower the tone of their voice, making their threat obvious to us both. The sudden shift takes me by surprise, but, I mean, we're dealing with a kid. In other words, there's something here that'll give us a clue. Either that, or you already know it yourself. Huh? How did you... Got yourself to blame for that one, kid. Should've kept your mouth shut. Oh right, this is the first time I've met any participants other than Shikisugu. You two must be desperate, that's why you're reading into everything I say. Screw this, we've gone this far, so let's just force our way in. Glance over at Odette to get her agreement. She smiles and nods in response. Ain't every day that we agree on something. Let's shut this kid up and find what we're looking for before the old bag of bones gets back. Would have been hard to shut him up when he gets back too. But we've still got a few days before the next election. Last thing we need is for them to call the police. I am thinking the same thing. Things would get real annoying real fast if someone were to cause a ruckus here. Our passports and stuff might be a good fix, but it's tricky to sneak around with the police on our asses. We ain't the most decent people in the world either. They'll find plenty to hold us on if they're given a reason to check our histories. I don't see any cameras, so all we gotta do is make sure you won't spill the beans. Don't get any funny ideas, kid. We'll let you go if you beat it now. Damn, you sure know how to act all tough against people weaker than you. Shut up. Both of us move toward the kid, but they still won't budge, till they provoke us even more. Oh, get it. I'm going to protect Shikisugu from you. Heh, the brat's got guts. You handle things here, I'll keep an eye out at the entrance. Got it. Quickest way to shut someone up is to crush their throat. It won't kill them, but it'll keep them from singing for a few solid days. I step forward toward the narrow hallway, my hands aimed at the kid's throat. They managed to move quickly enough to dodge under me. Speedy little brat. It's pretty common for smaller targets, but in the end, kid's just a kid. Got a longer reach, not to mention the physical advantage. They turn their back to me and make their way further into the house. Gonna run after all that talk, huh? All they've done is move into another room. Noise travels pretty easy in a cramped house like this, so as long as they ain't one of them ninja houses, shouldn't be hard to find them. I'm not running. They pop out of the room they ran into. I kick at them with my left leg. It creates enough distance so they won't be able to reach me. That won't work! They dodge under me again, but it's not a big deal. As I bring my leg back down, I smack the kid with the back of my heel. Connects with their shoulder, causing them to falter for a moment. I was aiming for their head, but they ducked out of the way in time. With my foot planted back on the ground, I move in for the kill again. The hell are you doing? Move! Huh? Before I can react, the kid has slid right beneath me. They use the impact from my heel hitting them to close the gap between us. Don't tell me the brat actually let themselves take the hit. It's too late for me to do anything though. No! I have no idea if I managed to allow a scream or not. Try to block it, but there's no way. Kid clenched in their fist and let loose. A flying uppercut straight into my crotch. Before the pain kicks in, I lose all feeling in my body for just a moment. And then the sharpest of pains rushes through me, almost like the organs above my groin are being strangled. My hands cover my crotches on reflex as I crumple to my knees. Ugh. They don't stop there. Pain starts to rush through my shoulder next. This isn't pain from a blunt strike, though. It's from a sharp object. I missed. They're holding a knife in their right hand, which they had used to stab my shoulder. Oh my god. Holy shit, that hurt. Unfortunately, it hit the seam of my jacket, so I got away with a minor cut. They must have run into that room to grab a knife, so I assume it was the kitchen. That's odd. I am sure I was on target for the carotid. Do my best to collect myself, but the pain from my crotch isn't making it easy to move. They retract the knife and take aim for a second stab. Somehow, I managed to throw myself out of the way just in the nick of time, although doing so leads to me face planting onto the floor. Turn to face them and I see no hesitation in their face whatsoever. At least the pain's starting to fade. I raise to my knees in order to kick myself back onto my feet and dodge the knife. Turns out that isn't their plan of attack. Instead, I can tell another shot of my crotch is coming. Yikes! Not wanting to experience that again, my body unconsciously ducks in order to dodge it. Oh my goodness! I won't miss this time! Oh my god, the next moment, the mammoth shadow passes over top of me. Oh my god, the return! Oh, Odette has launched her massive leg right into the kid. They block with both arms, crossed in front of their face, but the impact still sends them flying again across the hall. You're kidding me, you lost to a little kid? I didn't lose. Holding his crotch. Nobody in the world would believe that. If I'm being honest, I'm terrified by how focused they were on decimating my loins. Whoa. The kid flings the knife across the hall toward us. That dodges it with ease, which leads to it clattering harmlessly on the floor. But the knife wasn't twirling around or anything in midair. It flew straight like an arrow. Who the hell are you, kid? I'm not sure. I just know that I can't do this. I can do this kind of stuff. Your body remembers what your brain doesn't, I'd say. Odette plucks the knife from her floor and chucks it back at the kid with even greater speed and precision. They knock it aside with a frying pan they'd grabbed from nearby before scuttling off into the room across from where they got the knife. It was a tiny window of opportunity, but they took full advantage of it. Off to get another weapon, huh? Hey, get your ass off the floor! I jumped to my feet with the millisecond she shouts at me. What are they gonna bring out next? It made a mistake of trying to kill you when participants can only die via elimination. They reappear, muttering something at us. But how will you handle this? They brandish something in both hands, which they then heave towards us. Guess I'm their target again. Ain't gonna hit me like that. Looks like they've decided to chuck screwdrivers this time. 4 of them, each around 4 inches long, are headed my way. Not like they'll hurt unless they catch you right in the eyes or mouth. Not great weapons, unlike the knife. All 4 scatter across the floor as I dodge them with a back step. Odette charges in as soon as I step back to evade the flying tools. He ain't the only one you gotta deal with, kid. She prepares to do a spin kick. Huh? The kid must have seen it coming, though. They grab Odette's leg. Oh my god. They grab Odette's leg with their left hand and propel themselves upwards in what looks like a handstand. The ceiling is low enough that their feet reach it after that maneuver. Following that, they utilized the ceiling to propel themselves toward me yet again. Oh my god, they used Odette's position and strength to propel herself. With that, an even bigger knife in hand, mind you. Why's the kid gunning for me? I ain't dumb enough to let someone leap straight into me. Their skill must have taken me by surprise. But I can dodge this no problem. Slide my right foot back to do so. Christ, how can you be this stupid? Her insult isn't directed toward the kid, but to me. My foot doesn't slide across the floor when I pull it back. Instead, I trip over something. You trip over what the? It's not like I've tripped over thin air either. You tripped over its screwdriver. My foot is caught in something hard. It's one of the screwdrivers the kid had thrown at me a moment ago. Now you're mine. Oh man! Oh! The kid uses the opening to thrust the knife into my side. This time, it digs deep into me. They retract the knife immediately and put some distance between us, their eyes watching Odette all the while. The blood starts to gush out of me, dousing my jacket. Oh my goodness! Fortunately, my ribs took the brunt of the blow, so my insides aren't damaged. Oh my goodness. Probably have a few cracked ribs though. That probably would have killed me had the kid been a bit stronger. Shh, useless son of a... Let's chat. I am already starting to lose consciousness when she says that. From what I've managed to hear, the kid has no indication of chasing us down. No, the kid kinda has it. Oh my god. Whoa. And then, I dream. A dream so foreign to reality that I almost think it is another world entirely. I dream a dream about the one thing I've ever truly cared about. About the regret that only I could know about. There's an even more simple reason behind how I can tell it's just a dream. Because there's no hope of me ever achieving it. This is a reality that will never come to fruition. A desire that I've convinced myself to give up on. The fact that I'm dreaming of it now proves that I've still got regrets about it, though. And that is... Meanwhile, just as I start to wonder why my ass hurts, I notice that I'm sitting by the road. Odette's standing beside me, a plastic bag in hand. I assume she dragged me all the way from that house. Must have stopped by a convenience store on the way to buy provisions too. My side is still killing me, but it's all bandaged up and treated. Did you? First aid's a key skill on the sea. Can't let a wound like that fester, otherwise you'd be a goner. Sorry. You're a damn weakling, you know that? I can't find any words to butter with. Just click my tongue and shake my head. Look down on the kid because of their age, but it wasn't just that. They completely outplayed me. That aside, chances are the kid went through some kind of training that they forgot about, thanks to their amnesia. That's why. Hey, what's wrong? Wouldn't you have been better off just leaving me behind? Gross. I'm gonna puke if you keep talking like that. Besides, I told you we'd work together, and you've still got some value. I ain't the type to break a promise, usually. Usually, huh? This doesn't inspire much confidence. Shut up and have a drink. She hands me a miniature bottle of wine. Normal folks wouldn't give an injured person alcohol, but hey, she's anything but normal. As for their proof, she's already downing a drink herself. Chilean wine, huh? Oh well, I'd be pissed if they sold the good Italian stuff in some crappy store around here. You'll be fine if you've got enough energy to run your mouth. Even so, you should probably take it easy for the next week or so. Just me, huh? No point in arguing with her when I know she won't listen. Said I pour the wine down my throat like it's water. Ain't top shelf stuff, but Chile's wine is pretty decent for the price. Taste of red wine helps me to settle down. You won't find many people on the street drinking wine straight from the bottle back in Italy, but I gotta admit, I ain't against it. After enjoying our wine and a sandwich, we trudged back to our hotel. That kid's gonna be real fun to deal with. I'll make sure to crush him next time. I can tell that she isn't gonna go out looking for revenge on my part. That'd be pretty unnerving by itself, but I know her. And she's doing it for her own sake. It's been over a month since the fine election started. So, I've managed to pick up enough clues to figure out what she's thinking every now and then. It's pretty ridiculous, but she's just looking forward to pummeling that kid. Yeah, probably. Meanwhile, after school I make my way to the district where Chigasugu lives. Oh, why? I know the way by heart at this point. I've gotten somewhat familiar with the area after all. Should be able to escape into a busier area if I somehow bump into that duo. Okay, let's do this. I give myself a little pep talk out loud. Today's main goal is to ask around to find anything I can about the relationship between Chigasugu and that girl. Things go south almost immediately, though. You wouldn't happen to be a participant, would you? Someone approaches me from behind. Huh? The very person I was about to gather information on meets my gaze when I spin around. He may be short, but he looks as tenacious up close as he did from afar in the dream world. He stares at me with stone-cold poker face and the plastic bag in hand. I freeze the moment our eyes meet. I recognize that face. Not many high schoolers look as threatening as you do. You're... Now, allow me to hazard a guess. You've come here in search of information pertaining to me, yes? His posture makes him look exhausted. He's completely unfazed despite having run into another participant. Not that I think about it, he didn't react in the slightest when Numeral 11 got her hands on his name card. He may sound somewhat surprised, but at the same time, he seems a bit apathetic. Please, there's no need to be so tense. I have no intention to oppose any of you. My battlefield lays elsewhere, and today, I make my return after a great triumph. Your battlefield? Oh, are you a war survivor? Indeed, I have my own battle to fight. With another participant? Heavens no, I have my battles by this station. What? Completely baffled by his statement. Guess it means he successfully reeled me in though. I start to panic with that thought in mind. The battle begins by lining up every morning to secure a good spot, but the true war begins after that. Few things are as exciting as the fanfare you receive when you hitting the jackpot. Jackpot, fanfare, good spot. Not to mention this all takes place by the station. Station isn't huge, so it's all the typical storefronts around it. Coffee shops, diners, shopping districts, and... are you talking about Pekinko? That is correct. His laugh is hearty and sincere. The scowl on his face remains, though. It leads me to believe that he's the kind of person whose facial expressions don't quite match with how they actually feel. Here, for your correct guess, you win this chocolate. He produces a bar of chocolate from his bag and hands it to me. I stared at it for a few seconds before turning him down. Is this your way of making me lower my guard? Ah, children these days aren't quite satisfied with chocolate, I see. A shame. Especially when I know one whose eyes light up whenever I give them some. You must be talking about the girl staying with you. I don't recall any girls staying with me. Drop the act already. Try to sound as threatening as I can muster. Letting him lead the conversation any longer is too risky, especially when I can't gauge his intentions. My, aren't you a scary one? Stare him down as he tries to tease me. It's possible that he's trying to rope me in and extract useful information out of me, so I try my best to say as little as possible. As I said before, I have zero intentions of taking part in all of this. I'm happy enough as it is to have been granted some extra time before passing away. I've even been able to return to Pachinko Parlor thanks to it. You'll never believe how much my income has increased ever since Divine Selection began. I refuse to say anything in response to his random conversation. That being said, could I ask you to leave? He finally confronts me, possibly after realizing that I will stay quiet if he doesn't. I'm fine with whatever fate befalls me, but there's a certain someone whose survival I want to ensure. It has to be the girl. I already know for sure that they're living together, which means he's feigning ignorance. I want us to lead a normal life until that someone finds the will to fight for their own sake. Would it be too much to ask that you hear out what this old retired man has to say? You want this person to win, don't you? If so, then yeah. It would be too much. Well, that's hardly surprising. How does this sound then? His tone becomes grave, and his expression somehow gets even more tenacious as he speaks. If you agree to leave now, I won't make any mention of having met you. That means they won't target you. I get that you're older than me, but you may want to appreciate the fact that you're in no position to look down on me, Yushizuka Shigesugu. Getting haughty just because you know my name, don't you? He doesn't falter when confronted with threat. He opts to provoke me instead. Haha, I'm kidding. As I said twice now, I have no intention to pose any of you. His tone returns to normal, although his expression remains unchanged. We've made absolutely no progress. I guess his age and experience means it won't be easy to reel him in. From what I can gather, you aren't quite like the other participants. You're nothing more than a young girl. Pains me to know that you died so young, but your best bet is to avoid the other participants if you want to make the most of what time you've been granted. The hell up? Beg your pardon? Not sure how, but I managed to stop myself from screaming his face. I've just about had it with him talking to me like some dumb kid. I'm not doing this for my survival. I'm here for answers. I can't afford to just sit idly by and let this all pass. Is my life worth casting aside the lives of others for? What is my regret? What awaits myself in Miharu when all this is said and done? Is fate really something we can hope to go against? That face. I can't let myself die when I find the answers. Until I find the answers to all these questions. I have no intention of living a quiet life if I'm unable to do so. Answers, sir? I'm not quite sure what answers you have, but finding answers won't be a simple task. And don't act like you know me. Ha! Quite the nostalgic sentence there. I used to hear it from my family quite often before they all left me. That lady from the other day mentioned he'd been living alone ever since his family abandoned him. Based on his attitude, I'm hardly surprised someone said that to him before. He's one of those condescending types who like to act as though they know every little thing about you. I'll leave today. It doesn't mean I'll stop looking into you, but don't think that I'm the only one doing this either. Everyone's far more desperate to cling to life than you seem to think. The tenacity of yours is quite admirable. Certainly not what I expect from a child. Haha. That attitude is what's pissing me off. Just I'm about to leave, I hear a set of footsteps stop in front of me. Turn my eyes toward the person to whom they belong. Who is this? Don't tell me it's another participant. No, of course it is. What is it about today? The voice belongs to the girl I tailed back into Shigasugu's house the other day. She's probably returning from a shopping trip based on the plastic bag she's holding in one hand. Her eyes are big and round, and her silver hair is somewhat disheveled. Well, seems like an average innocent kid. we know that's wrong. So with that, I think we're gonna end it here for today. I hope you've had a lot of fun with this. I am enjoying it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. It's definitely getting interesting quick. So with that, love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!